Yo, yo, this is it. I'm Mr. Faye, and you're listening to Attack of the Beats on IllMuzik.com. Another 5 beats, another 5 reviews, and actually, before I get into it, it's good to be back, because the past couple of weeks, man, if you know anything about web development and all that, you'll know that it can be a pain when you're trying to run a website and all that, and, well, needless to say, my web host was acting a little funky, so, I was just getting kind of fed up, man. It was too much downtime, all these problems with the site and all that. So then I was like, you know what, forget it. I'm just going to go to a new host, and that's what I did. So this past weekend, it was just crazy trying to move everything over and all that. And I'm sure some of you probably thought, what the fuck's going on with IllMuzik? What's Faye doing? What's he doing? Anyway, but we're back, so everything seems cool. And we're going to kick it off here with Attack of the Beats. So first up, we've got Andy with UO. Let's check it out. All right. Okay, so that was Andy with UO. I think it was called something else, but that's all that showed up when I checked the upload, but whatever. But yeah, so with this beat, it's weird because it sounds so smooth with the synth and the keys and all that. They have all these nice little synthy sounds coming in and out and everything, and it's so nice, right? It's just really nice. When the drums come in, though, it's weird because at first it sounds like it's just off. It just makes the whole beat off in a way, you know what I mean? But then it's on point, right? You're on beat and everything. It's just that I think the only thing is that the drums, even though they match up with the music, it's just that it doesn't sound like it goes with that music. I mean, I just think, like, for my personal preference, when you have something smooth like that, I would drop in, a regular drum track and something a little more hype or something like that. Because the way you have it, it's good. But if you're gonna keep it very smooth like that, some like whole laid back beat, I think you're better off just using, maybe even a kick, just because the synth is so smooth. Maybe just have, a very, very light snare here and there, like think about some kind of like a movie soundtrack type of music or something like that, something really chill or whatever. But if you want to have actual hip hop beat, you could drop in the drums and but something more hype, something that sounds faster than the actual music. I think that would gel really well together versus what you have now, which is a slow drum track, which sounds okay. It's just that, I don't know, to me it just sounds like it doesn't really go with the synth and all that. So try that. Just try like a straight up drum track, just, I don't know what BPM you're at, but let's say you're at, I don't know, let's say 98 BPM or something. Like, have something at that BPM rather than slow down the drums and all that. So but yeah, I like the synth work, good piano and all that, but it's just those drums, man. I would just change it up, see how it sounds, if it makes the beat sound more hype, let's say. So all right, so next up we've got Daxstar with Jimmy. Let's check it out. All right. Okay, so that was Daxstar with Jimmy. All right, so for this one, what's interesting is that it sounds nice, the music. I like the way you flipped it. Okay, you got this nice music going on with the guitar and everything. And I think the problem though is that with the effects you've put on it, it makes it sound like it's in the background almost. Because when the drums drop in, the drums sound like they're more up front, like they're right in my face. Whereas the music sounds like it's chilling behind the drums. It's kind of weird, I mean, they should be gelling together, So, but also the thing too is that with the drums, they're good. Like I said, they sound drier, let's say, than the music because of whatever effects you have on that music. So that's something you gotta look out for. Like when you're mixing, when you're adding effects and all that, you gotta be careful of that. You gotta make sure that your drums don't just sound like drums just sitting on top of some music, you know what I mean? Everything has to blend well together. So, but for the drums though, it's the kick, man. I would change that kick. I mean, first of all, it sounds like it's panned more right than anything. So, I would fix that. And also the kick, it just sounded very, very dry and punchy compared to everything else. So that, plus the fact that the drums just sound like they're more up front, I would just fix that or whatever, because it's nice. The music's very, very nice. I just think that you just need to have drums that go with it, So if you're going to add whatever effects you have to that music, to that guitar and everything, I think you should also add it to the drums or add something to the drums. So it's like kind of like you're putting like a coat of paint all over it or something to make everything go together, rather than just having the drums just sitting on top of that music. You know what I mean? You got to make sure everything's just kind of together. So but yeah, especially that kick, you got to fix that kick, man, because very dry, very punchy, and it's panned a little more to the right. So you best check that. So all right, so next up we got Don Pedro with Marbles. Let's check it out. All right. Okay, so that was Don Pedro with Marbles. All right, so on this one, you got a nice sample there. It's nice. I like the sample. It's dope. I like the way you flipped it. And then when you have, then you put it into a low end as the bass line. That's really dope. I like that. I like that kind of style. It really goes well because, it fits the sample, right? I mean, it is the sample. So it's nice when you put that pass on it and then the low pass on it. Then you have, the sample coming in and stuff. So it's a good job on that. The sound of that sample with the little singing, it sounds a little repetitive, but that's all right. But it does sound good though. I like it. I think the only problem I have is that kick. I mean, because it's a sample kick and I can hear all that crackle on it. And I guess maybe that's the intent there. Maybe you intended to have it like that. I don't know. But anytime I've had a kick like that, I try not to use it. And if I do, I layer it and just lower the volume of it so it's not so prominent, because it's kind of annoying. You get this kick and then this crackle like constantly. You could tell it's from that kick. You know what I mean? So if you really want to have that crackle, I would just put it all the way through, just like just sample something from you put the needle on the record, let's say, you sample that and have your crack all the way through or whatever, and then have like a nicer kick, something that sounds cleaner, because the one you have, I don't know, man, I'm never crazy about those types because I try not to use them, man. I found one kick once where I was trying to use it, whatever, but I think I had it in my collection or something for whatever reason, but it was a nice kick. It's just that it had that crackle, and it just annoyed the shit out of me. I was like, I gotta get rid of this thing, so got it out of my collection. Don't use that anymore. So, but that's, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if that's your intent or if that was just the way it was, whatever. But I prefer not to use something like that. But the other stuff is good. I like the sample. I like the way it's flipped. It's just that kick, man. Try swapping it out with something cleaner. See how it sounds. All right, so next up we got Dragozetic with Concept 17. Let's check it out. All right. Okay, so that was Dragozetic with Concept 17. All right, so this one's interesting because I like the sample. I like the way you chopped it and the way you use it. It's used all the way throughout in a proper way. It's just, it is a little choppy here and there, but that's the way it goes with some samples like that. If you could try to kind of blend the samples together a little more so they're not so choppy, that'd be better. But for what you have, I like it. I do like the drums as well. They blend well with the sample. I think the only problem is the bass, because I've been there many times, man. I find a sample, I flip it around, do whatever, and then I add some bass, and the bass on its own sounds good. But when you blend it with that, when you put it with the beat now, it just doesn't sound right. It sounds out of tune, So when I get faced with something like that, I get rid of that bass right away. I'll try to get it in key, but if I really can't, I'll get rid of that bass. And my second option is to use the sample that I have, that I'm using, that I'm chopping, and put that as my bass line. Okay, put that with a low pass filter. There's your bass line. Or the third option, which is pretty much a fail safe, is just using a sub bass. Because sub bass is just very neutral. You can't go wrong with that. The problem is with a sub bass is you gotta be very careful because it's a sub bass, right? The thing's freaking loud. So, so sub bass is the last option, I would say. But just the way you have your bass, it sounds good. It's just that, like I said, with the sample that you have, it just makes it sound out of tune. So I would do away with that bass, or if you can get it into a tune, I don't know, because I don't know if it's a sample bass or if that's something from a plugin or whatever. But try to do something with that bass, because the rest is fine. I like the rest of the stuff. Just fix up that bass, man. Just get something, you know. Like I said, worst case scenario, use the sub bass. Be careful with it. You know, you're gonna have to compress it somewhat, but otherwise, yeah, man, change it up. All right, so next up we get the last beat. It's Clips with the Roger Flip. Let's check it out. All right. Okay, so that was Clips with Roger Flip. All right, so on this one, I really like this beat. It's nice. I like the way you flip the sample. It's dope. Although when you have that part towards the middle where it's kind of like just, I guess you could call it like the verse or something, it gets a little repetitive, a little, you know, empty, let's say. But that's the thing. I mean, with this type of beat, it's one of those beats where it's even better if you got vocals on top. So, I mean, we're not trying to judge here with the vocals, you know, with some rapper on top, but I would add just some kind of vocal snippet here and there, just to add some flavor to the beat. Okay, and the drums are nice, although the snare's a little loud. I like the sound of the snare. I think it just needs to be brought down a bit in the mix. Other than that, though, the drums are on point, and I do like the little keys from the sample and all that. Very well done. And it's just a nice tune. I like that. I just think it needs a little bit of polish. You know, like I said, just add a little bit of vocal snippets, fix that snare, and you're good to go. I mean, if you can get vocals on top of this, you know, that'd be great. I mean, I don't know what the intent is for this beat, if you plan on shopping it or working with an artist or whatever, but I think this would be really good for some rapper on top of this, you know. So, but it's a nice beat. I like it. Good job on the flip. And yeah, just fix those things and you're good to go. All right, so that's it from me. I'm Mr. Fade. This is Attack of the Beats. Keep sending the beats in. I'll keep reviewing them. And my favorite beat is, drum roll please, Clips with Roger Flip. Let's check it out.